At first, being smart seems like an advantage. You're praised for your intellect, admired for your insights, and often held in high regard. But what many don't realize is that being labeled smart comes with hidden burdens that can impact your personal growth, relationships, and overall happiness. The societal pressure to live up to the label can be exhausting, and the fear of failure or making mistakes can create a paralyzing effect. For many, the burden of being smart can outweigh the benefits, leading to frustration and isolation. One of the biggest challenges of being considered smart is the constant pressure to meet high expectations, whether it's excelling in academics, solving complex problems at work, or providing quick answers in social settings. People expect you to perform flawlessly. This can be overwhelming, especially when you feel like you can't afford to fail. For example, a student known for being at the top of their class might avoid taking on new challenges for fear of jeopardizing their perfect record. Similarly, a professional praised for their expertise might shy away from opportunities that involve risk or uncertainty. The weight of expectations forces many smart individuals to play it safe, ultimately stifling their potential. Closely tied to high expectations is the fear of making mistakes. Smart individuals often tie their identity to their intelligence, equating failure with personal inadequacy. This fear can lead to perfectionism, where they obsess over every detail and avoid situations where they might appear less competent. For instance, someone who's always been labeled as the smart one in their family may hesitate to pursue a creative or entrepreneurial venture because of the possibility of failure. This mindset limits growth and keeps them trapped in a cycle of avoiding risk, even when it means missing out on valuable experiences. Being perceived as smart can also create a sense of isolation. When others view you as intellectually superior, it can lead to social barriers, either because people feel intimidated or because you struggle to relate to them. This isolation can make it harder to form meaningful connections or collaborate effectively in group settings. For example, a smart individual might find themselves excluded from casual conversations because others assume they won't be interested in light topics. Alternatively, they may unintentionally alienate others by focusing too much on intellectual discussions, overlooking the importance of emotional connection. This creates a divide that's difficult to bridge, leaving the smart individual feeling misunderstood and alone. Being labeled smart isn't always the advantage it seems to be. The high expectations, fear of failure, and social isolation that often accompany intelligence can create significant challenges. Being smart often means having a mind that's constantly analyzing, problem-solving, and seeking patterns. While this can be a strength, it also has a downside: overthinking. Smart individuals often find themselves trapped in an endless loop of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, making even simple decisions feel overwhelming. This constant mental activity can lead to stress, anxiety, and a sense of paralysis, preventing them from fully enjoying the present moment. For instance, someone planning a weekend getaway might spend hours researching the best destination, weighing countless options until the decision feels exhausting rather than exciting. Overthinking creates unnecessary complexity in life, leaving little room for spontaneity or joy. This mental burden is one reason why intelligence doesn't always equate to emotional fulfillment. While IQ measures cognitive abilities, emotional intelligence, or EQ, is about understanding and managing emotions, both your own and others. Many smart individuals excel in IQ, but struggle with EQ, finding it difficult to navigate emotions, build empathy, or connect deeply with others. This imbalance can hinder relationships and leave them feeling disconnected despite their intellectual achievements. For example, someone might excel at solving complex technical problems at work, but struggle to comfort a friend going through a tough time. Their reliance on logic might lead them to offer solutions rather than emotional support, unintentionally pushing people away. This inability to connect on an emotional level can leave even the smartest individuals feeling isolated and unfulfilled. Intelligence can sometimes create a barrier to authentic relationships. Smart individuals may unintentionally come across as aloof, overly critical, or dismissive of others' perspectives. This isn't necessarily arrogance, it's often a result of their focus on facts and logic over emotional nuance. However, this can make others feel unheard or undervalued, straining relationships. For instance, in a conversation about life goals, a highly analytical person might critique someone's dream as unrealistic, without considering the emotional significance behind it. This approach can alienate others, even when the intent wasn't malicious. The key to meaningful connections lies not in being the smartest person in the room, but being relatable and empathetic. Perhaps the most surprising downside of intelligence is its weak correlation with happiness. Studies have shown that smarter individuals are not necessarily happier, and in some cases they report lower levels of satisfaction. The constant pursuit of knowledge, perfection, or achievement can leave little time for relaxation, hobbies, or meaningful relationships. Moreover, smart individuals may struggle with existential questions, overanalyzing their purpose or place in the world. This intellectual pursuit, while valuable, can sometimes overshadow the simple joys of life. Emotional fulfillment comes from living in alignment with one's values, forming genuine connections, and appreciating the present, qualities that intelligence alone cannot guarantee. While intelligence can open many doors, it doesn't inherently lead to emotional fulfillment. Overthinking, struggles with EQ, and difficulties in relationships highlight the limitations of valuing intelligence above all else. Being labeled as smart can feel like a badge of honor, but it often becomes a trap. Once intelligence becomes central to someone's identity, they may feel compelled to constantly prove their intellect. This pressure can lead to avoiding situations where they might appear less knowledgeable or capable, limiting their growth and experiences. For example, someone who prides themselves on their intelligence might hesitate to try a new skill, like learning a musical instrument or a sport, for fear of looking incompetent. This mindset creates a rigid comfort zone, where growth is stunted and life feels more like a performance than an adventure. By over-identifying with being smart, people miss out on opportunities to explore, fail, and grow. The concept of a fixed versus growth mindset is particularly relevant when discussing intelligence. A fixed mindset assumes that intelligence is a static trait. You're either smart or you're not. This belief fosters a fear of failure because any mistake is seen as evidence of inadequacy. In contrast, a growth mindset views intelligence as dynamic and emphasizes the value of learning through effort and persistence. For instance, someone with a fixed mindset might avoid asking questions in a meeting to avoid seeming uninformed. Meanwhile, someone with a growth mindset would see asking questions as an opportunity to gain knowledge. Shifting from a fixed to a growth mindset allows people to embrace challenges, view mistakes as learning opportunities, and focus on progress rather than perfection. Ironically, many high intelligent individuals struggle with imposter syndrome, the persistent feeling that they're not as competent as others perceive them to be. Despite external validation, they fear being found out as a fraud. This phenomenon often arises from the pressure to live up to the label of being smart, leading to self-doubt and anxiety. For example, a successful professional might downplay their achievements, attributing them to luck rather than skill. This constant questioning of their abilities not only diminishes their confidence, but also prevents them from fully enjoying their success. Imposter syndrome is a stark reminder that intelligence alone cannot shield against insecurities. Intelligent individuals often have a tendency to overthink and overcomplicate problems. While their analytical skills can be an asset, they can also lead to excessive scrutiny and a preference for complex solutions over simple ones. This habit not only wastes time, but can also frustrate those around them. For instance, in a work setting, a smart individual might spend hours devising an elaborate plan where a straightforward approach would suffice. This tendency to overanalyze can make tasks more difficult than necessary and impede collaboration with others who prefer practical solutions. Recognizing when simplicity is sufficient is an important skill that even the smartest individuals must cultivate. Another downside of tying identity to intelligence is the tendency to lose sight of life's simple joys. When intellectual achievement becomes the primary focus, activities that bring happiness, like hobbies, relationships, or downtime, can be neglected. The pursuit of intellectual validation often comes at the expense of emotional and societal fulfillment. For example, someone who prioritizes their career achievements above all else might neglect spending time with loved ones, only to realize later that their personal relationships have suffered. Intelligence should enhance life, not overshadow its more human elements. Striking a balance between intellectual pursuits and emotional connections is key to living a fulfilling life. Letting go of the need to constantly prove your intelligence can be liberating. When you stop defining yourself solely by your intellect, you open the door to personal growth, creativity, and authentic connections. Instead of viewing life as a series of challenges to conquer, you can approach it with curiosity, humility, and a willingness to learn. For instance, someone who embraces this freedom might take up painting, not because they are naturally skilled, but because they enjoy the process. By stepping away from the need to excel, they discover a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment. This shift allows for a richer, more balanced life, where intelligence is just one aspect of a multifaceted identity. Attaching your identity to being smart can create unnecessary limitations and stress. The pressure to perform, the fear of failure, and the tendency to overcomplicate can all detract from life's choice. Embracing a growth mindset, prioritizing simplicity, and letting go of the smart label can free you to live a more fulfilling, balanced, and authentic life. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.